A report to be published tomorrow suggests the MOD could save up to £13 billion if it replaced Trident with a strike force of combat aircraft armed with up to 100 atomic bombs. Laura Hawkins has been looking into the suggestions from the Centre Forum think tank at a time when defence still needs to find savings. £13 billion would be a lot of money.
Yeah, of course, Kat, and that's attractive, isn't it? Saving money, especially for the MOD at the moment. But if I can first recap on what Trident is, it's a sea-based nuclear weapons system and it comes in three parts: submarines, missiles and warheads. At the moment we have 4 submarines. At any one time, one is armed and out at sea, one is undergoing maintenance and 2 are actually in port or on training manoeuvres. Now, each submarine can fire targets up to 7,000 miles away. At its fastest, each missile can travel at over 13,000 miles per hour. And the 4 submarines that we have, they can carry 16 missiles each. But, of course, they won't last forever, and in 2028 they're going to be replaced. Now, the estimated cost for that is between 15 to 25 billion pounds, although some say it could cost up to 34 billion pounds, so a lot of money there. And that's why it's interesting that this think tank has come up with an alternative. Now, Ted Seay is from the British American Security Information Council, and he welcomes the idea.
The 2013 Trident review came to the conclusion that there were no cost-effective alternatives to one-for-one replacement of the Trident system. What we think that Toby Fenwick's report does is demonstrate that there are viable alternatives, and we think these ought to be debated as publicly as possible.
Now, what this report actually suggests is that Britain could have a strike force of F-35 Joint Strike Fighters. Now, each one would be armed with up to 100 US-designed B-61-12 freefall nuclear bombs. Now, they would be stored at RAF Lakenheath in Suffolk, which is where the Americans are actually based at the moment. And when an attack is incoming, this strike force aircraft would disperse to 18 bases across the UK and onto our aircraft carriers that we would have, and then launch an attack from there. Now, a single bomb would completely devastate central London. It would kill 160,000 people and injure 650,000 people, it says. So, you know, it's still extremely powerful. However, to put this into place, the MOD would have to cancel its contract to buy the F-35B jets, and instead they'd have to buy the F-35C jets, which actually it's a different version. It has a bigger bomb bay. It would also mean that the aircraft carriers that we've been building would have to be customised as well, and that would cost money, of course. But overall, the think tank believes that £13 billion, as you said, would be saved, and that's obviously a lot cheaper than Trident. Here's Ted again.
If you want to pay for that much deterrent, sure, you're going to get better response times. You're going to get less vulnerability. You know, you're going to get all these other wonderful things. You can threaten more world capitals with the Trident system. What you're replacing it with, according to this report, is something which is more tailored, more focused, cheaper, less threatening to other countries that aren't threatening to the UK, less likely to violate the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, and thus bring the UK back in line with its diplomatic treaty obligations. And so there are a lot of good things to be said for a proposal like this.
So has there been a response to this?
Yeah, some experts have already been responding and criticising that this new suggestion wouldn't hit certain cities. So, for example, maybe Moscow, where the Trident would hit those cities. And it's also been knocked by Lord West of Spithead. He's a former head of the Royal Navy. He said that this proposal is totally bonkers. That's his quote. Gerald Howarth, he's a former Tory Defence Minister. He has said that such a strike force would not be as effective as Trident because aircraft are more vulnerable to attack than submarines. Now, of course, this is a proposed alternative and it is cheaper, so there's going to be a lot of debate that's going to be going for the next few days.
Laura, thank you.